back to actual play, Burning Wheel, the Shoeless Peasant. Last session, I found out that one of the things the Elven Etharch, well, I learned her name to begin with, but Bina Janos also learned that she's incredibly interested in the Archmage, which she thinks Nara might be. So wild. That's bonkers. Yeah. So and Nara has been given permission to come on the envoy with her, along with Deke and Rasmus and Father Rivaro and Varus. So the party is formed, assuming Deke is cool with it. We might have one hell of an interesting duel of wits coming up. We'll see. Yeah. Judd, I think next thing I'd skip to is like the dinner that night with Rasmus, unless you think something else is going to happen in between.
Yeah.
That was court, and I imagine that took some time and work to be done. And, you know, Bina's day has been very full, so I think she's probably, yeah, she'd like to check on Elise. She'd like to even check on Verette. Was that the name of the niece? Just sort of.
Oh yeah, Vigrette.
Vigrette, that's it. I bet she has some regret.
Sorry. Yeah, old Novak gave her like really a shitty job. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm cutting out.
Yep.
I lost you there for a second.
Okay. Yeah, I just said old Novak gave her a really shitty job. She's scrubbing something. She's scrubbing some floor in some room that is filthy.
Yeah. Well, I think this is one of those signs of opportunity cost. Like, Bina had no desire to make enemies out of her, but she does the time right now to smooth things over. So
yeah.
Yeah. So she goes. She rushes home. She maybe even pulls a bottle of cider from the kitchen.
Yeah.
You know, smuggles it out and gets home maybe even a little, I don't necessarily know, like earlier than normal, but like in more of a rush than normal. Like, you know, it's like races home and it's like maybe a bit winded when she gets there.
Yep.
And she what's Deke up to?
I mean, he's doing his thing. Yeah, making wheels and doing his stuff.
Yeah. She
totally.
Yeah, she says I think she gets there and she kind of catches her breath, and then she says it's funny because I feel like what I need right now is a pet name, but I'm really bad at pet names because I don't use them.
Yeah.
I use them for my dog, but I don't use, like, I call him a million things, but I just call Karen.
Yes.
Or like, hey you sometimes, but like, I don't use like honey bun or whatever.
No, not unless it's very, very ironic. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. That's pretty much the only context in which I use an ironic. So maybe let's roll with that. That's perfect. So I think that she's like hello, my strong wheelwright. And it's like, oh, Romeo, like that's like the equivalent, you know. It's awkward, like it's not normal. It's not a normal thing that Bina would say, but maybe she said it in the past when she's trying to, you know.
Yeah, and I think he finishes what he's finished and what he was doing and says, what's the matter?
Nothing's well, I mean, we live in a hellscape and we're on the brink of war and destruction, but nothing's especially the matter. but I did invite a guest over for dinner tonight. He aided me in my travel, and he has a lot of wisdom that has helped us so far. The wizard Rasmus.
Wow. Wizard.
A real one. And I'd like you to meet him, and for Nara to meet him, and I stole some cider out of the kitchens to celebrate the occasion. And I sort of like pull it out of my sack. And I think like Bina has like definitely done this before, but it's not a really common occurrence.
Yeah. He says, "Wow. All right. I'll clean up."
And yeah, so she sort of she pats him on the back because he's like finishing up what he's working on, and and then she goes about sort of preparing, and she's not like expect that Rasmus has a lot of high expectation in terms of she's not going to try and like turn her place into something it isn't, but I do imagine that since she's hasn't quite got things in her own home up to her normal standards of
Right.
she's used to. So there's a little bit of like, I've been meaning to do this ever since I got back, and now I'm gonna like really quickly store this over here and put that away and wash those things. And so
Yeah.
she's prepared.
Cool. And I think Deke goes next door and like gets a couple of older kids, like 12 and 13, to come and like help you with stuff.
Oh,
So
great.
if you need people to like run you things, like he like cashes in a couple of favors to like get kids for the evening, to be your runners basically.
Oh, that's I think that that really, I don't know, that's really sweet.
Yeah. And I think like he gets cleaned up and he cleans Nara up.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think Rasmus comes in for dinner. Yeah, he has a bottle of wine. He says, "We don't have to open this today. It's from there's a vineyard near the tower where I grew up, and anyway, we had an extra one."
We'll drink well tonight. Please come in and sit. And she introduces. She says, "Wizard." She still doesn't. She still calls him Wizard, like that's like a normal thing as far as she knows.
Yeah.
So she doesn't know if she's just supposed to call him just Rasmus, but it's like it's an honorific as far as she knows. Like it's as much as it is. It's like doctor. She just
Yeah.
You always use it. So Wizard Rasmus, this is my husband Deke. Real right?
And I think like Deke kind of like goes to shake his hand. He says, "I don't know." And he says, "Technically, I have a ducal title, but I'm far from those lands today, and I would be honored if you would just call me Rasmus for tonight. And if you're ever in my tower, we'll renegotiate that. But for tonight, here in the shadow of Karakage, please, just Rasmus."
I think. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think like Deke says, "So you met Bina while she was on her travels?" And he says, "Yes, she was very persuasive and very passionate. Definitely spoke about you and your daughter and how she wanted to save you. It's quite heroic." And Deke kind of nods and says, "Please come in, have a seat."
And I feel like as a nod to the etiquette that I've learned in the 2 days of it, right? I tell Rasmus as like you know, when he says, "I just call him Rasmus," I'm like, okay, then I'll hold off on the. And I imagine there's some sort of like big fanfare that you're supposed to have
Yeah.
for somebody in the Duke. Like, I'll tell the marching band they can go home, right? You
Right.
know,
Right. Right.
as a right.
Yeah. He
And
laughs, and I think we don't have to go like moment to moment for dinner.
right.
But I think like it's one of those meals where a bunch of strangers share a meal, and like all of the bullshit stories they decide to tell because like no one has heard their stories before
Uh huh.
uh happen to be really funny ones, and they complement each other, and like you ask each other a lot of questions, and it's just a lot of like it's I don't know if you've ever had like a Thanksgiving meal where like no one knew each other,
Yeah.
and it just works. And this is like one of those meals. Like I think it kind of clicks, and there's a lot of laughter and a lot of like good stories, and uh you know, he tells a lot of stories about growing up with you know, in his tower with his father, and the shenanigans he and his brothers would get up to. It's just like, you know, Deke telling stories about him and his brother, and it's just very yeah, a very like jolly meal. Nara like notices that his hood has like stuff in it, and she says, "What's in your hood?" And he says, "Well, little perceptive Nara, you are I can show you, but you have to promise not to touch anything until I take everything out. Can you promise me that?" She says, "Okay." And he like clears the table and then starts taking out all of these little things. He takes out like a little ball, and a little scroll, and an old quill, and uh, you know,
A little figurine
yeah,
that he
like a little
made.
figurine, a little like a little doll that a child would have, and he like puts them all out, like they're all over the table, and he's and like Nara like puts her chin on the table and just looks at it all really carefully. And he says, "What do you think, Nara?" And she says, I like it." And he says, "Which one do you like the best?" And she points to the quill, and he says, "Why do you like that one?" She says, "I don't know." And he says, "Okay." And he like takes that one and puts it aside. And it's like, you know, 3 dozen tchotchkes, right?
Right. Right.
And he says, what next? What's your next favorite?" And she says, "How many do I get to pick?" And he says, "As many as you want." And she points, like taps a little like stone goat. And like he takes the stone goat and he puts it next to the quill. And he says, "Okay, what's your next favorite?" And she touches the scroll, and he says, "Can you read?" She says, "That's interesting." And he puts that aside, and he goes, "What else?" And she kind of like goes over to the things and like starts playing with them, and she says, "That's it." And he nods, and she says, "I can't keep them, but I can play with them tonight." And she says, "That's right. You have to give them back. They're very dear to me, but you can play with them while I'm here in town. I'll come collect them before I leave. How's that?" She says, "Thank you." And like he puts the rest of the stuff away. And like Deke just looks confused. He's like, "What did I feel like I just saw something important, but I don't know what."
Right. 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 I feel like there's a moment where like Bina and Deke are like Bina's like sitting back a little bit from the table as like Nara's
Yeah.
doing all this because I clear the way, and she's sort of like shoulder to shoulder with Deke, and she's like look at our daughter, like yeah, and I think maybe they have this sort of like shared look of like I don't know what's going on, like I don't,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, like Bina doesn't know either. She has no idea what this is like wizard training or just this guy with weird shit in his hat, right? Like
Yeah.
it feels unknown, but also like not in a way that she has any way to like
Yeah.
I sense magic happening, right? So
Yeah,
it's like
right, right.
yeah,
And I think like after Nara goes to bed, Deke says, what just happened? And he says, your daughter has the gift. And there are those who believe that the wheel spins. There's a greater wheel that spins us all about, and that when you die, you go into the wheel and come back out. Based on how true your beliefs are and what you created with those beliefs, how much joy you brought to the world, etc. So there is a way of discerning. I could tell that she had the gift the moment I walked in. But what I was testing for was to see if she was a reincarnation of the Archmage. There's only one born a generation. And that has led some of us to believe that it is the same soul, the same person born over and over. And there are instances where some archmages have dreams of what the previous archmage has done. So your daughter, among the 36 items I put out, picked the 3 that belonged to archmages centuries past.
And I feel like Bino was hoping to kind of like warm Deke up to this idea a little bit more before this happened, right? Like she was like, hey, let's talk to the wizard. And then this all sort of comes out. And so she's a little surprised. She's like, but also like this isn't the first time when she's like, remember last night when I told you I thought our daughter might be an archmage, and we kind of laughed about it.
I thought you were joking.
Well, I wasn't sure, but there's a lot of things that when she was born, the elves choosing her as a friend, this, and Vina sort of shrugs like I had no idea this was going to happen. They all make me think that our daughter is. Every parent thinks their child is magical, but I think our daughter really is.
Yeah, I think Deke is just what does, and I think like he wants to ask you, but like you're not a wizard, right? And so he turns to Rasmus and he says, what does this mean for our daughter? He says, it means that we can find her a wizard who is skilled enough to teach her the art of sorcery. I am one option, but I'm only one. And I cannot teach her how to be a wizard who was born a peasant and has to walk among thrones. There are those who believe that you should train with someone of your own birth. And there is wisdom to that. There are things that I will take for granted that someone born to a craftsman might not. Ways that she'll be mistreated that I won't be able to prepare her for. And there's more. If the Etharch of the Elves were to find this out, she might see your daughter as a pathway towards obtaining the burning wheel. and like Deke is like done at that point, right? It's just like someone
Yeah.
just walked into his house and was like, your daughter's a wizard. And he's like, okay. And he's like, oh, by the way, like she might be able to like walk up the mountain and like pick up Jesus's cross and like light it on fire, right? Like it's just too much. He kind of like checks out and he's just like, I don't, Bina, can you explain this?
I mean, Rasmus has met the Etharch before, and she had interest in him and lost it when she determined that he would not be an archmage. From what he's told me, the should she meet Nara, should she believe that Nara is the next archmage to be, I know our little girl, that seems preposterous, but then I think it would renew some of her hope. I think that, and I am speculating, but I'm hopefully doing it off of the good advice I've been given. That if the Etharch doesn't believe there's an archmage in the world, and that she is the last one, and she kind of is looking to Rasmus to be like check me that I didn't get this wrong here. But if she is to be the last, if there are no more, if there's no magic in the world, if there is not another archmage to replace the last one, then it may very well be time for the elves' time to be at an end. And if that's the case, what's the difference between dying in a horrible war versus fading all the way into existence? I'm sure there is a difference. I'm sure I'm simplifying it. But I think that my knowledge of the Etharch is that, and I know I say Etharch like I'm talking about like a king, like he's our neighbor. I don't know her, but what I believe from talking with her brother, you know, she kind of winces, and from talking with one of her advisors, she isn't a hateful creature, a hateful person. She is driven by perhaps desperation, but certainly anger. But I think Nara might give her hope, and hope might quell this rage in a way that nothing else will.
Are you elves steal children? And like Rasmus is like, well, I mean, in the course of history, some children have been stolen by elves. Yes. But and like I think like he tries to like say, but in the course of history, humans have stolen elves, like humans have stolen children too. But like Deke is like, yeah, that's I don't need this. I don't need that kind of. He's like that. We're not offering our daughter to some elf queen.
No. We're offering hope to her. We're showing her that the magic in this world isn't lost. We're showing her there's another generation, and that maybe our daughter will be the next one to bring the wheel down from the mountain. We're giving her a reason not to kill us all, and not to kill herself, not to throw life away. Period. That of the people of Karakagi, but that of her own sword singers as well. I was stolen from my home, and I was put in another place, and that's where I live.
Legit.
I won't let that happen to our daughter. And if she chooses, of her own volition, to go off with a wizard, or an elf for that matter, then I also know that you can find happiness in places you didn't expect. And she just touches Deke's hand. She touches Deke's hand.
Wait. If she chooses what?
They're not going to take her from us. But if she wants to become a wizard, that might mean she has to travel with a wizard and learn from a wizard. That might mean she has to go away. Not because the elves have abducted her, but because someone will have to teach her. And they probably can't teach her here. And if that's what she wants, and only if that's what she wants, I think that she can find happiness wherever she goes.
I don't. Could we run?
I can run. There's the knight's report is that there are vultures on the road. That it's not safe.
Yes, I've heard.
They say there may be
rumors.
Orcs.
There are orcs.
We could possibly gain the retinue of the Duchess to protect us. We could go to the... And she sort of looks at Wizard Rasmus. She's like, we could travel down the weird road. She looks at him like, I don't even know what that means, but that's your home. That you know about that because that's where wizards go, right? She just sort of throws it out there as like spitballing, not like it's a good idea, but just like there are things you could just do.
There is an elvish army between us and the weird road.
Well, we could run sideways. We could flee. But I would like for you... I told you I wouldn't take Nara away from you, and I won't. I'd like for you and Nara to come with me to meet with the elves. I want you there to protect me and to protect her. And to give me solace.
Bina, thank you for saying that, dear. I appreciate you for propping up my manhood. But if the elves decide they want something from us, they're going to take it. I've been under a hail of their arrows. In battle, they are unmatched and vicious. We cannot defeat them.
I know. We cannot defeat them in battle. That's why we're not going to defeat them with swords. We're going to defeat them with
hope?
Yes. With the promise of a possibility that everything they care about isn't gone in the world. The Etharch is a sore. She's sore that her consort is gone and the star has not been returned. One day Nara Janos could bring the star back to her. I don't know if the consort still lives. That may be lost. But the consort went with the prince's brother into the vault. The elves and the dwarves drove the dragon into the vault. Maybe they could go recover their lost loved ones together. There's possibilities. I don't want to go into the vault and I don't want to send her daughter there, just to clarify. But if she needs something to point her swords at, point it at a damn dragon. Go rescue her consort.
I think he turns to the wizard. He's like, does this make any sense? He says, it isn't too far off. It's as good a chance as I see. It's as good a chance as I see.
I certainly don't have all the answers.
And I think like you hear like handbells ringing that mean like there's some feasting going on and like there's some nuptial.
Oh, Pap has been made Lord of the Keep, and he's marrying the he's marrying the Lady Elise, the Duchess's niece, and we should go to see this as our Lord is wed.
I'm glad I'm wearing my good tunic. Come on. He gets up and like I think he picks up Nara and she's like, kind of napping, but like she might wake up again.
Yeah.
So he takes her and you guys walk over to the tower. And I think like there's one point where like Deke ends up walking with a couple of other folks, and Rasmus saddles up next to you and says, there is the possibility that if we go in an envoy, it's going to be court and it's going to be oration and we're going to be well out of our depth.
Yeah, yes. That's my expectation.
I could call up Mist for you and your daughter.
What does that mean?
If you manage to sneak as far as you did into the into Taverna Torin, with the help of my magics, you might be able to sneak into the Elven camp.
Bina goes wide-eyed.
And if you could find the Ethark and speak to her, it's very dangerous.
So I would like to talk a little bit about safety tools right now.
Yeah.
I think it's an appropriate time to. So Bina is very torn on this. There's a part of her that is terrified about what might happen to her daughter. There's a part of her that's terrified about upsetting Deke.
Yeah.
And there's so many fears, but she's also, we know Bina, we know that like if you said you could sneak into the Elven Etharch's chambers, she'd be like on it, right?
Right.
If this was just Bina and Nara was not involved, Sean would go for it, have this discussion. But as Sean, the notion of a child being abducted or a child being hurt is I feel like I can't just say, Judd, that can't happen because that's clearly one of the threats in this. And if we just agree that, well, that doesn't happen in this universe, then the fears that the characters have been invalidated. On the other hand, Judd, don't kidnap or maim a child, right? Like, so
right.
There's
so
a part of me that's like pre-X-carding certain material.
Yeah. So, all right, let's where this can go.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about that. And this is sort of burning wheel format as well, where you like talk about stakes before you commit to the role. I want to do that part. Yeah.
Totally. So I'm totally not going to maim a child. And does it help?
It's more the kidnapping that is. Oh no, I lost you.
Am I here?
You're there, but for some reason not on stream. Stream fucked up. There it goes. Stream caught back up.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if we lost anything, but Judge just said not going to maim a child, which thank you.
I'm totally not going to maim a child. Not even an eye, not a pinky. I'm just not interested in that. I could see. All right. So what if? So as the Birding Wheel GM, I have to tell you what happens if you fail the roll, right?
Yeah.
If you fail the roll, how about this? How about if you fail the roll, the next game we flash forward 10 years and you are playing Nara Janos, um, uh, whose mother tried to sneak into the Alvin Etharch's camp, was captured, and then was brought, like the army inexplicably moved south and was raised by the elves under the Etharch's care because she saw the destiny in her.
That sounds good to me.
Does that work? And we can even say Deke found her. Like Deke went south and threw himself at the elves and was like, you need to let me be a part of her life. And you know, she
Right.
wasn't stolen from her father, I guess is what I'm saying.
Right.
Or even Deke goes with you.
Yeah.
You say I'm not taking Nara away from you. Be like, Deke, this is something we could do. And Deke goes with you. I'm cool with that too.
That sounds great. I really appreciate it. I realize that we're saying if you fail the stealth roll and you fail the persuasion, we're going a few steps down, but I feel like to even entertain this notion, we have to talk about that a little bit. So thank you.
Yeah.
No
problem.
all sound great.
Okay.
When I love playing Vina, I don't, that is significant stakes to me, but also during the break, I got out of the game. I'm like, Karen, my daughter is the Archmage. Oh my God, it's so cool. And she was like, what? All this stuff, and it's been hinted at. And I was seriously being like, I want to play Nara, I want to see her growing up and whatnot. So while that is severe stakes, it is also something that I find compelling and interesting, and doesn't posit the danger that obviously I don't want to see on screen or even have. So
yeah. No, I'm not interested in that either. I think there's way more interesting stuff to go with.
Yeah. That sounds. So I think. I think. Bina looks at Rasmus and says, when do you think we should, is this the cover that we need? Are you imagining now is the time to do this? The elves might be taking note of the fanfare. Their guards may be watching.
Sounds smart. I'll meet you at the old tower.
Okay. And I run after Deke.
Yeah. I think he nice. Hold on one second. I just want to see how the wizard did on his roll.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Yeah, Deke is he pulls you into a dance that's going on in the courtyard, and I think he hands Nara over to old Novak.
dance with him, and I like, I work my hardest to have a smile. Like I'm
Yeah.
so just like I want. Um,
And I
my
think like,
instinct is
yeah, I think like when the dance is over, he says, "What's wrong?"
I just have to put this because Jiminy Crickets did it bite me in the ass. When faced with a Roth lover, answers them with honesty rather than soothing platitudes. Um, he's not Roth yet, but I'm sure he's going to be. Um, I, I want you to trust me, and I know that I haven't given you a lot of reason to.
You haven't given me a lot of reason to because you told us to leave a month ago when we should have left before there were orc and vulture all around us and 2 armies.
Because I brought a wizard into our home, and I didn't tell you that I truly believe Nara was an archmage.
You actually did tell me.
Well, okay. All right. Well, as long as you're giving me the benefit of the doubt, I want to take her to the Elveneth Arc now. Rasmus made a very good point while we were walking here. He said, go with the envoy. There's going to be court, and there's going to be this 97 eyes on all of us, and the opportunity to give the opportunity for the Elven Etharch to be moved by such platitudes as hope will be lost because she will be beholden to her court. And I know this. I know from experience. When you confront a person in front of their court, when you put their name and their prestige on the line, they can give you the same respect, the same considerations as when you have them in private and to them as people. And even though he took my eye, when I met with Fiona Cecile, her brother, he took me as a person more than Bodnar did when he demanded things in his court, and more than the dwarves did when I presented my case before them with the 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 engineer and the warden and the prince and all of the onlookers. And there's a time for large orations and powerful speeches, but I'm not the person to make those, and this isn't the time to do that. And Rasmus thinks he can sneak me and Nara to see the Etharch, and that this celebration is the distraction to do that. I came up with that idea. I don't want to blame him. He said that we could do it. I said now would probably be the best time.
I think like he turns and looks like across the crowd at Nara, who's like sitting in Novak's lap and listening to her tell a story. And he says, "I can't let you leave with her without me." You don't want me to go?
I feel like I'm going to pause for a moment. Judd, I feel like this may be the case for a persuasion roll, and if he wins, then that's what happens.
Okay.
Sound right to you?
So if for a persuasion roll from him?
No, for me. If I succeed, he lets me go with her, and if I fail, he comes with. Does that feel like reasonable stakes?
Yeah. That's totally reasonable.
Because I don't
Yeah.
oppose it, but it wasn't what I was thinking. Even given our conversation about safety, like I envisioned him coming after the fact. Should I fail on this?
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't know that he would help this endeavor. But maybe, I don't know. Yeah. Okay, all right. I would like to make a persuasion roll to try and. Yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let's try that.
I think we've he's ob 4.
Yeah. All right. Let's roll some bones. So I'm going to fork in wife-wise, because I'm
Yeah.
calling back to our relationship and all the things that we've gone through together as a couple. And oh man, I forgot I had cell-wise. I don't think that's germane.
Nope.
But it feels like it would have been previously. And I think that I'm doing this carefully as well.
Okay.
I feel like this is a careful attempt to.
I'm going to nix that one. I don't think there's any way to be careful with this.
No.
No.
The reason why I say it is because I feel like the conversation that we had at dinner was like leading up to it. But okay. That makes sense. I don't have time. I am trying to do this in a time sensitive way.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
I would like to call on an advantage die for being right all those times in the past.
I will totally give that to you. Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Except when Deke and Bina go to couples therapy, he's definitely going to bring up that like you don't let anything go, and it seems like every argument leads into the other one. It's just really frustrating how.
That's fair. All right, so I'm rolling. How much persona do I have? I have 4 persona. Okay. Oof, God, I have 3 very important rolls. This persuasion roll, a stealthy roll, and another persuasion roll. I've got to save it for those. I mean, I really want this, but also like,
yeah,
man, do I need persona when I talk to an elven Ethark and say, hey, you should not give up hope and instead trust in my daughter to someday deliver you the wheel. Okay, so it's persuasion, forking Wi-Fi's, forking or with an advantage die. Yep, that's it. All right, it could happen. 2, 0, 4, go. No. Is there a 6? No, there's not a 6. Okay. Yeah.
I think he goes to old Novak and he picks up Nara, and I think like he kisses old Novak's head, says thank you for everything. And comes back and says, let's go.
I need you to hold something else for me. Or actually, what's this yet? Yeah, she takes his hand and she sort of pets the back of Nara's head. I imagine she's still kind of sleepy because it's up past her bedtime.
Yeah, but I think she's getting her like 4th wind. You know, she's kind of like awake. Like she doesn't really understand why mom and dad are going to the old tower, and like this whole night doesn't make a whole lot of sense to her. She's pretty out of her.
She's met a wizard. She's gone to a feast. She's seen a wedding. She's going to the tower late at night with her mom and dad. I think I asked her along the way, did the good elf who rode on your wheel, did he tell you his name? Or do you know his name? Because she just thinks that like maybe Nara might just know.
He's very quiet. She. Very quiet.
Well, we may have a chance to go. I hope. And Bina looks up at the not stars,
Right.
and it's just like, I hope you're still there. I hope you're there through this fog. Um, yeah. So she we go to see Rasmus at the tower. We
Yeah.
bring her wheel. I bring a rucksack that I can sling over my shoulder, and
Yeah.
And yeah, and I look to Rasmus and I say, well, it's the three of us. I just sort of say as like in this,
Yeah.
like that's what it is. Um, and and I say, how does this work?
And he says, I cast the spell while I was waiting. This is a good place, an old place. The roots go way down into the earth, and I've called up mist that will hide you and guide you to the Ethark's tent.
And I think she was gonna like ask, "Are you gonna come with?" But she kind of just knows that he's not.
Yeah.
My persuasion just went up.
Oh my!
Yeah, I had a bunch, and I just need one difficult one.
Cool.
So I now have B3 persuasion.
Cool.
Yeah, it's almost as good as my killer B4 soothing platitudes. All right. I say okay, and I open up my rucksack and I pull my boots off and I like rub them against a stone to get the mud off of them.
Yeah.
And I put them in my rucksack and I say,
I think Deke takes his shoes off too.
yeah. And I and I say, well, no, maybe I was gonna explain it, and then I'm like, oh, I don't have to explain this to Deke or to Nara because they all know. I'm so used to explaining myself to nobles and to other people who just like don't get it. I'm just like, oh, cool.
Yeah. And he gives you 3 bonus dice with his mists. Yeah, he rolled really well, and the ob is only 1.
Oh wow! Okay. Well, my stealthy is B2.
Okay.
I have stealthy, so huzzah! So yeah, I'll roll that.
Yeah.
5 B Bob 1.
I rolled 4 gray dice. I got a 2, a 1, a 5, and a 1. Like they just were not watching tonight.
They're not paying attention. I want a fork and a wise for knowing the area, but I don't think I have a geographic kind of wise that's appropriate. I think the closest thing I have is work wise in terms of like knowing their duty or lazy wise, but I don't think I know elves well enough that that's applicable.
Nope.
So
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna roll stealthy.
Sounds good. Don't forget the 3 bonus.
Yeah. Come on. Sorry. Just the sheet is just so like hit or miss as to whether it's gonna
I know
be responsive. And it's such a nice design. But like I want to use it. There we go. Okay, 3 modifier. 1. Whoops. That was Arthur 1. Try that again. 3 modifier. No Arthur. 1 off. Nice.
Nice.
Ian Janos with the stealth.
Cool.
That was
the Janos family walks through the mist and past guards, and you come to this really lovely tent, and and the mist lets you go right past the guards on like a little like a side like servant's entrance, which you of course know is there.
Right.
And there is an elf woman in robes, and she's got like her armor on a frame, and she's like looking at it and like speaking to herself in Elvish. Yeah, she's just like talking as if someone's there, but there's no one there.
Yeah. Well, I don't believe that for sure. As much as I slip through the mists, I don't know that elves aren't hiding invisibly in their gray mantles. I think, Bina's kind of amazed that like they even got this far. And she kind of has to catch her breath. And she realizes she doesn't know the proper way to greet an elf.
Right.
And so she says, pardon me, great Ethark, for the intrusion.
Yeah, and I think like as soon as like a non-elf noise happens, like her sword comes out like in the smoothest motion that you've ever seen, and she looks at the three of you and is just puzzled, and just like without taking her eyes off you, puts the sword back into the into its what the hell's that word?
Sheath.
Jeez, could not think of that word.
No
worries.
Like
and she says, "Are you lost?
Are you the Ethark on Aklima Bareth?"
And I think when she looks at Nara, her eyes like go wide. I am.
Then we're right where we need to be. I hope.
You've brought an elf friend. I offer you all the hospitality that I can. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty?
We've just had repast. Another good word. It's even better than dinner.
Yes.
But it is our custom. It is conversations always go better over meals. Is there food out right now? Does she have like food out right now?
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I think she does.
Have to summon any kind of like attendance.
Yeah. She does. She there's some fruit. So she like calls you over to the table and bids you all to sit.
Yeah. And I thank her for her hospitality, because I feel like that's
what are your names? What are the names of my? She says, "What are the names of my guests?"
This is my husband, Deek. This is my daughter, Nara, and I am Bina Janos. I was told your name by a wizard, who I believe you've met before.
Yes, my scouts told me Rasmus was in the area. Should have seen that this mist was him.
I'm rather glad your guards did not. They might not have received me as well.
No, no, they would not. Bina Janos. Yes, one of my rangers mentioned that name.
Yogdwin.
You are the servant who would stop the war with words.
That's my hope. I came to you because in a few days' time, the Duchess will come formal peace envoy. And I am part of the envoy, but I did not believe I could speak to you person to person in such a formal encounter. And I hoped that if we shared some time together tonight, we might have the opportunity to learn more of each other. Possible rather than what is to be.
Have you been in love, Bina?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
And she looks at Deke. And at Ar, for that matter.
They killed my love. They were hosting and they let him die. And they won't return what little I have to remember of him. I cannot set aside that anger.
The dwarves are very fond of their gifts. And claiming your consort's star as their gift is not right. But from my understanding, he went not alone, but with the dwarven. And there was some drinking involved and some boasting involved. And it doesn't make your suffering any less. But I believe that Prince Bulat may yet still have some love for his brother Chovka. I don't know the name of your consort. No one's shared that with me.
I think she says something like very Legolas, like, I cannot bear to say it. Like, something like that.
Yeah, I love it. But they ventured into the vault. When I last spoke with Rasmus, I asked if he had an eagle that we could fly upon, because I've heard wizards have such things. And if we could go to the vault to try and find them. And he informed me that we would only find death at the hands of a dragon. And I believe him. That me, a servant from Karakagi, from Bolnar and then Karakagi, would fail at such a venture. But I don't think that Chovka and your consort would have entered if not for the belief that their combined might prevail. And I have to believe that you and Prince Bulat, if you combined your efforts, could exceed their own. Because rather than being driven by boasting and egos and jests, you're driven by love and the desire to see the one who blanketed this night without stars for his absence. I don't think your grievance is truly with the dwarves. Yes, I believe they have done you wrong, but I don't think there's any satisfaction you could ever have from their demise. But there is the hope of at least finding your beloved and putting him to rest if he has perished, or rescuing him if he hasn't.
Yeah, I feel like you've made a really good point. I don't want to back up and like Duel of Wits this. I think we can just knock it to a persuasion.
Yeah.
I think it's just an ob 6 persuasion. I'm going to give you a bonus die. I know that's crazy. If you fail, then I think it's not that there can't be peace. It's that that's not working. And maybe we do go to a Duel of Wits in some other way, on some other angle.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? I feel like we've gone too far to just Duel of Wits it.
To Duel of Wits it. Right.
Are you cool with it all being one roll, or do you need to?
Yeah.
Do you want the?
Yeah. No. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm just shaking my boots about an ob 6 persuasion roll, but no, I can do this.
Yeah.
I am going to I'm going to fight you like a devil though, because I think I'm gonna try and fork in the world, and you're gonna bat me down when you think it's where you think.
Yeah. So I want to give you 2 bonus dice.
Okay.
I want to give you bonus die for the information that you've uncovered. I want to give you a bonus die for having an elf friend who is also your daughter there.
Sounds good.
So that's 2 bonus dice I'm totally going to give you.
Okay. Thank you. That sounds great.
Okay.
I want to things that I think I'm doing right now that I think are appropriate.
Yeah.
I believe I'm speaking about the way a person loves their beloved and what for them, and I'd like to fork in wife wise. I believe I'm speaking, while not effusively, but certainly very highly of her and of her sorrow and of everything she's gone through and of the grace of the elves. And I'd like to fork in soothing platitudes. And this is a stretch, and please feel free to knock it down. But the whole plan is to sneak in and rescue this person. And I think the fact that I like snuck into her tent and where she probably never expected it, I'd like to fork in stealthy. Like we could do it. Like it's possible to sneak into the dragon's vault. People say it's impossible.
It's a reach, and I'm going to allow it.
Okay. How about the other 2? Soothing platitudes and Wi-Fi's?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Awesome. So, man, ob 6 is an interesting number. It's an interesting big number. Okay. So I'm at persuasion, which is B3. I've got 2 bonus dice. Thank you. I am forking in 3 more dice. So I've got 5 dice that I'm adding. So I'm rolling 8. And 3 persona, which is the maximum you can spend on a roll.
Here we go.
Because that's what you do when
it's all on the line.
Yeah. All right. So persona down to 1. Okay. Persuasion. I don't think that there's anything else. I would say I'm doing this carefully, but I feel like carefully has kind of already been part of the bonus dice you're giving me. And my vision of careful is all the things that you already said I did.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly just saying that as like a, burning wheel process, right? Like
Yeah.
All right. So modifiers are 3 forks, 2 so 5 modified dice, and 3 Artha dice, and Ob 6. Yeah, let's roll them bones. Yes. That was still a difficult persuasion, but one I got 7 successes on, and 3 of those are 6s. So I'm just rolling that because I want to say I schooled the Ethark in persuasion. So that's holy crap. 1, 2, 3, 4 more successes. 11 successes. I've never rolled 11 successes, Judd. I've never rolled. Isn't 10 a miracle?
Yes.
A miracle. Wow.
My rangers will escort you back to Karakage. Bina Janus, I don't think you and I will ever meet again. But it was a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for reminding me of someone I loved.
Thank you for hearing me.
Nara Janos, you are an elf friend. You are welcome in our citadels and our homes anytime you wish. And I believe I will see you again.
Bina sort of looks to Deke like...
Deke Janos. I know of your wife from my cousin, who is one of my rangers, but I do not know you. What do you do? He says, I'm a wheelwright. And she smiles. She says, it is like one of your fairy tales that you should have such a profession. Would you make a wheel for me? He says, if you would like me to, I would. Could you find this field again when the mist is gone? And he says, yes. He says, when you are done making that wheel, leave it in the field. It will be brought to me. It will be my honor. And when I have received it, I will send my payment for your craft and your time.
And I think Bina sort of looks to Deke like, you know, she obviously knows Nara's special, but I think she sort of like looks down at Nara and then just kind of squeezes her.
Yeah. Could we speak privately before you leave?
Who is she talking to?
To Bina.
Oh, she sort of looks a tiny bit nervous, then it's like, yes, of course. And she embraces Deke and Nara, and she says, I'll be with you. I'll don't worry, I'll be with you shortly. And she kisses them both and kind of ushers them out. To
I'm starting to put things together. I'm sorry. It's been a hectic time. My brother went to Karakage to scout for the army.
Mm.
It was you he wounded.
Yes.
He said you insulted him.
Sorry, you cut off for a second.
He said you insulted him.
Yes. I told him of a song, and she gets a little nervous actually because she's like, "Oh shit, I just mentioned the song," but whatever. Cat's out of. I told him of a song, and he told me quite rightly, songs are not meant to be described; they're meant to be sung. And I did not sing well. And he gave me a gift, which was the gift of fear and of knowing the anger and the grief that could well in someone, and what it would take to and an inkling of what it might take to soothe such sorrow.
If he had not done this, maybe you would have turned south instead of north. We could have had this conversation a long time ago.
I wouldn't have known what I know. I learned of your consort from a dwarf I met on the road and his parents, the Guilders, and of you from Wizard Rasmus from Covenant Torin, and of others from Prince Bulad himself.
My cousin Aeg Dulin said that she asked you to give her a name of a dwarf to kill to end the war, that you would not give a name. Why did you stay your hand?
Because I don't think that seems trite, but I don't think that I don't think that murder is a way to end violence. I don't think it would have worked.
Mm.
I can tell you that if you were to kill Prince Bulat, the Warden Boj would love nothing more than to double his efforts in the name of a grudge and revenge.
They do like their grudges.
You deliver to them they expect and hope for. Plus, he was really nice to me. He said really nice things and was welcomed me. He gave me some amazing boots. I think like this is the moment where Bina realizes that she's still barefoot and is like, oh,
right,
kind of looks
right.
down because I mean she didn't put them back on. She has
Yeah,
them
of course not.
But like,
my rangers are outside with your husband and daughter. They will guide you back home. When the mist clears, we'll be gone.
I don't know how to say thank you enough, but I wish you all the best. And if I can aid you in any way,
tell your daughter I'll be waiting for her.
could I know the name of the woman who marked my daughter as an elf friend?
Her name is Din Arniliel.
Write it down. Please thank her. She saved not only Nara, but myself and possibly many others.
She's my aunt. She's as old as some oceans. I will tell her. I think she like walks you to the door and kind of closes the curtain of the tent, having already kind of said goodbye.
Yeah, right.
And Aeg Dulin is there at the head in like full armor and full regalia at the head of a group of rangers. Being a Janos, we should move with purpose. The mist will not last much longer.
And I think I say, hold on a moment, and I pulled the boots out of my rucksack and I pulled them on, so I move quickly rather than quietly. And
they gave you boots,
good ones. My grandchildren will wear them.
No doubt.
And yeah, and Deke and Nara are there, I assume.
Yeah.
And I say, Phil Nightingale, you should pack your boots. I think you can put away the spear and bring out the boots. I think you'll be traveling soon.
Cool.
Awesome. Wow.
Is that it?
That's it.
That was awesome.
That's the session. That may be the game. I don't even
know. I mean, I don't. So let's talk about that a little. We can talk about it now. We can talk about it in the weeks to come.
Yeah.
I could totally see a thing where you play Nara, or I could play Nara and you could GM for a while, or like, I think there's a lot of different ways to go.
Yeah, I think so too. I think fast forwarding it to, because I you know the ultimate situation that this game was centered around was this war, and it's been forestalled.
Yeah.
And I think this is an interesting world where lots of things are going to go wrong, and being a Janos isn't there to save the time. And I think her method of addressing things isn't even the one that is universal at all. So I would love to see one of us play. I think playing Nara would be great. I mean,
and the if we use art magic, it's just so cool. Like, it's really flexible, and we could like make a school of magic, and we could have a thing where Nara is looking for her. I can think of a couple different situations.
Yeah.
That aren't as dire as like this, where it's just like armies are. It could just be like.
Yeah, exactly. We could set another situation where the stakes are not. Yeah. I would love to do that. I think we should talk over email and go back and forth. I can just see so much fun out of whatever we do in this world, because in some ways this world is like such like a simple. It's like the religion is the burning wheel, and Duke is it's kind of mythic in the simplicity of this game in some ways, and Bina's journey was just mythic. So Yeah, St. Guard says something a little more low key. Yeah, exactly. Like not with elves, princes, and right. You know, just playing an archmage
Right.
seems chill. Okay, let's do beliefs because I mean I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a claim for something big and I think you're gonna do it.
I see where you're going.
You see where I'm going. You know what I'm talking about. Varus is a beautiful voice that I will sway that may sway the elves. I'll bring her with. I think I got a fate on that one. I tried. I accomplished it, but she never actually came on the envoy. Like I
Right.
accomplished.
Yeah.
You know.
That's a fate.
Um. Whoops. I'm going on the envoy. I'll ensure safe speaking to the Elven Etharc. And we talked about this last time, and I'm gonna ask for a deed on that one. I think that's.
Yeah, I think it's a deed.
I ended the war right there,
Yeah.
or we ended the war.
And I think what's more is you like put yourself and your family at risk directly to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a deed point. I'm good.
Cool. I need to know the mind of the Etharc if I'm to have any chance of winning her over.
That's a persona. You really did learn that stuff.
Yeah. Instincts, whenever in the presence of nobility, listen carefully. Came up, but it wasn't anything. Right? Always keep sight.
Yeah, I think that's a fate.
I feel like that's it's such a big one. And then this is those were already checked. I didn't check. When faced with a wrath lover, answer them with honesty rather than soothing platitudes. Yeah, I feel like
I could see a fate there too.
I feel like that was a big
yeah
element for.
Yep.
And I'm sure the traits have come up, but I don't feel the need to go through them all because they'd earn fate. And I think the one that I would take honestly, well, that's not true. I feel like both ambitious and one-eye taken by a spiteful elf really.
I would argue that if you end up playing Nara, I feel like the deeds point should like be a generational thing that like gets inherited,
nice.
you know?
Yeah.
We can kind of house rule it.
Yeah.
A generation, burning wheel generational rules.
Yeah. Right.
I just think definitely cool.
Yeah. So that was I'll tally it up, but that's and then I think it's also fair to say that this was I haven't asked for this before, but I feel like it's fair to say I want to claim MVP.
Yeah,
on
totally.
This, on this thing, just bring it all came together. I mean, there were lots of people, but
yeah,
cool.
And I think, I really liked Bina Janos, man. I just think she's a really cool protagonist.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun playing her, and a lot of that was because you really facilitated a lot of possibilities where her approach was viable in a way that I think not 231 fate, just 31 fate. In a way that I feel like just so many games don't. I think there's a part of me that's like if Bina even a B2 sword skill, or dagger or any weapon skill, like she may not have ever been the character that she was, but because she never ever had that as even an option, we just went down so much more interesting avenue. And my goodness, what are we at? Okay, there we go. Wow, that
happened.
Okay, we're back. I feel like I've already said Bina Janos' farewell 3 times now, so we'll save it to next time when we get together and we can reflect on the game.
Yeah.
Judd, this was so much fun.
Thank you.
This is fantastic. And this has been a great campaign.
Yeah, I'm really, really glad that you reached out and prompted me to watch it all over again and for us to get back to it, because I definitely liked it, but I remember loving it, but didn't really remember why until I rewatched it. And I was like, oh no, 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 oh shit, this is really good. Like we
Yeah.
need to go back and finish that.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for, saying, hey, the world's on fire. Let's finish this game.
Let's play a game. It's been great, and
Yeah.
I mean, this game is a standout one for me in a lot of ways. And yeah, you've been amazing at running it, and I've just loved the development that we saw. So yeah, we'll
Cool.
revisit Karakage.
Awesome.
Friends, thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry for all of these technical glitches that we had tonight. Was not the way we wanted to say adieu. I know Judd and I's images are swapped right now, but that's life. I'm Sean Nittner over there. Yeah, there we go. But that's my lower third banner. I'm Sean Nittner. I use he, him pronouns. I am playing in a Scum and Villainy game on Sunday. We're starting up a Stars Without Number game pretty soon that I'm excited about too. And my game Agon is going to be printed someday. So
Yay.
yay. I think it's like October right now that we're looking at. So it's big exciting. And I've had just the best time playing this game. It's been amazing. How about you, Judd?
I'm Judd, he, him, and yeah, this has been really, really fun. I'm really glad that we got back to this. It's a rare thing that you put a game down for more than a year and then get to come back and do it again. And I'm really glad that the archival nature of streaming games allowed us to do that. That was really a gift. And no matter if we go back or if we decide to play Nara or not, I feel like this is like a nice finished product, which is like a very satisfying thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't consider myself like a content creator, but so product is like a strong word. But it's just nice to finish something and be like, oh, that's Bina Janos' story. Like, and I loved like everything about it. And I just liked, yeah, I just really, really liked where it went. So yeah, thank you for playing, Sean. That was great.
I'm really glad this tower didn't fall.
Yes.
Wow. We're going to keep talking because I haven't gushed enough about this game, but I also feel like I'm repeating myself right now. So we'll keep talking about it. So I say it was great having folks here, and I agreed that having this like full story, this campaign that has went from start to close is really rewarding. It's probably one of the streaming is having that archive on YouTube and being able to say, yep, there it is. There's the whole. So
yeah, it's nice. Yep.
So we will we'll see folks again, in the later times, whenever whenever you join Actual Play again. If you saw any of the donate links and you're able to contribute to Black Lives Matter or the Trans-Civil Defense Fund, we would love it. If you want to sub here, we will give the money that we get from that there as well. So any of those would be great. And just being here and hanging out and putting up with these technical is also just wonderful. So we'll see you all later. Take care.
Thanks, folks.